Recently, you have a blog post and also you mentioned about the intuition and gut feeling. I mean,
Yes.
importance of making decisions on intuition based. And that is an interesting approach. Do you ever feel there are limitations for this approach? Because you are also doing A/B tests. It's not intuition. It is purely maths. Is there a limitation?
Yes, everything's a trade-off. But to your point about A/B tests, we don't do them that much. But when we do them, this is the interesting thing about A/B tests. So you test two things, and you get data, and everyone looks at the data. But I look at the two things. Where'd those come from? Why those two things? So why not test two other things, or two other things, or pick any combination of things? Where'd those ideas come from that you're testing in the first place? Did they come from other tests? Where'd those tests come from? So if you keep going down, at some point, it's like someone made a decision to try something. Someone had a hunch. Someone had an intuition that this design might be better than this design. And maybe you find out that it is, but where'd the designs come from? That, to me, I like to go backwards there and keep going backwards. And you realize at some point, someone just made a call. Where'd that call come from? It came from their gut at some point, some level, somewhere. Some designer decided to put the line here and not there. It wasn't scientific. It was intuition based. It was based on experience and judgment and years and art and all the things that we don't know and the millions of inputs that we don't understand that are influencing us every single day. I just find that mystery to be very interesting. And I find it to be more honest, frankly, just to say that it is kind of a mystery. And yeah, you can measure some things at the end of the chain or at the end of the line. But what about the rest of the line? That, to me, is where it's exciting. So we're primarily a gut-driven, intuition-driven company. We make decisions on the fly. We come up with things. We try things. And we don't feel like we need to justify the things that we try or the things that we do. In the end, the market will tell us whether or not this is a viable idea or not. It doesn't mean it's a good or bad idea. Is it a viable idea in the market, in that environment? That's what the market can tell you. It's a good idea if you like the idea. If that satisfies you, it's a good idea. But whether or not it's viable is up to the market. So we leave the market. We leave it up to the market to determine whether or not we can stay in business. And so far, we found that this is a pretty effective way of running a business for us. Other people are going to be different, but I would still challenge people to say, who are very data driven, to say, well, where'd the things that you're testing come from? It's a great question just to ask, even if you want to argue it. It's still a good question to ask. And I would ask, what are the things that you think of? Where'd those things come from? Where'd those things come from? If you go back a few layers, you don't really know where things came from. Now, I think that's interesting.